A warship beach should never be this quiet.
No drums, no officers barking cadence, no synchronized thud of oars being loaded into slots.
Just footsteps running on sand, chaotic, desperate, out of rhythm.
That's the sound of a navy dying.
The Athenian crews are scattered, some still inland with cookpots, some halfway back, some frozen in...
Time to launch!
It's a precision instrument, 170 men, coordinated down to the heartbeat. Across the strait, Lysander's marines are already positioned.
Not for a duel, for a seizure!
They're gonna take the ships the way you take unguarded cargo.
Because Aegos Potami isn't won with better tactics!
It's won by attacking the moment before tactics matter.
A question. How do you defend against an enemy who strikes when you're not a threat yet?
If you want to understand how war shaped our world, stay with us.
If you want the next forgotten world, subscribe, and we'll uncover it together.
Athenian power depends on ships, and ships depend on routine.
The camp's geography creates distance between men and benches. Every fix that secures a ship on land also slows its return to sea.
Conan's constraint is simple. He can't keep everyone at the ships all day.
Fatigue turns vigilance into guesswork. Repetition teaches the wrong lesson, that the enemy won't come today.
Lysander's constraint is different. He must stay unseen until the timing window opens.
Most accounts suggest his plan is restraint. Wait until the fleet is in pieces. Logistics isn't background. Here it's the weapons handle. The camp's daily needs pull the crew away at the worst possible time.
Far away, the city already feels pressure in smaller portions.
Decision-making under pressure begins before the crisis peaks.
He senses the danger, but he can't force the war to slow down. Preparation isn't dramatic. It's removing failure from the minute that matters. Exhaustion doesn't announce itself. Then suddenly it decides for you.
The most dangerous moment is the one that feels normal.
The trap needs only one clean signal.
Order can be comfort until it becomes a target.
Even there it becomes part of the schedule.
Every step away from the hulls is a second added to the launch. Short supplies don't just weaken bodies.
They pull attention away from guard duty.
Readiness looks like practice, until practice is interrupted by real alarms. Transitions are the soft seams where vigilance can tear.
Conan's problem is cohesion. A fleet is a system, not a pile of ships.
Lysander shapes what the Athenians think they see. Nothing. He's not chasing ships. He's cutting off options. Control at sea starts with control on shore.
The enemy doesn't need deception if repetition does the work.
Distance is time, and time is what the beach steals. In Athens, logistics becomes fear you can carry in your hands.
News moves faster than ships and hits harder.
When decisions arrive too late, the room feels smaller. A fleet is a story on wood until the story is erased. He knows the terrain is a liability. A beach offers no protected reset. Restraint is the pressure he applies until the enemy relaxes. Visible order feels reassuring until it becomes reconnaissance for the enemy. The first true warning arrives late.
So the commander makes the only move left. Assemble faster than the trap can close.
Beat A. Read the terrain. This camp has no natural shield. The beach doesn't just hold ships. It holds men in place.
Currents set a hidden clock for any crossing.
The Campbell's daily needs stretch the crew into pieces. Lysander's first move is controlling visibility. Terrain becomes a weapon when you turn distance into delay. Every stabilization step is another second stolen from launch speed. Routine becomes permission to disperse.
Conon can see the pattern, but he can't break the needs behind it.
While Athens repeats a routine, Sparta repeats a raid.
Preparation is removing uncertainty from the decisive minute.
The fleet's manpower is still here, just not in one place.
Every quiet day makes the next warning easier to dismiss. Most accounts suggest the plan is patience, weaponized. A ship on sand is only wood until the crew returns. The raid will begin with a signal so small it's almost nothing.
Staggered arrivals means staggered launches.
He prepares contingencies because he can't control the crowd.
Beat C! Lock the trap! The fleet is loaded like a spring.
The critical moment is not the sail, it's what happens after they return.
Small disorder is the first sign the system is breaking.
Now the signal isn't rehearsal. Now it's release.
The crossing begins like a machine starting. One motion, one purpose. The Hellespont isn't wide. It's a doorway.
Panic spreads faster than commands! He tries to compress minutes into seconds.
A ship can move, but it can't fight the math of missing men.
The trap is no longer theoretical. It's seconds away.
Contact. Lysander doesn't meet them at sea, he meets them at the shore.
Contact begins as a cutoff. Straight to the ships, not the men.
The Athenians try to defend and launch at the same time. Two tasks that cancel each other.
Contact. Conon's command is literal. He has to move bodies with his hands.
Disruption starts underfoot. Sand turns strength into delay. Disruption. Lysander breaks rhythm by denying the fleet its own machinery.
Disruption is mechanical. Tiny failures cascade into immobility.
Pivot. The key move is towing, not ramming. Pivot. Once the first ships move, the rest of the beach becomes a queue of losses.
Pivot. His signal turns a raid into a system.
Collapse begins with congestion. The shoreline turns into a traffic jam.
Collapse!
Conon chooses survival for a fragment because the whole cannot reform.
Collapse is often stupidly small. The wrong rope at the wrong second.
Collapse. Sparta turns chaos into a conveyor belt.
Collapse. Once enough ships are taken, regrouping becomes impossible.
Collapse. Defeat becomes the decision to keep moving.
Once the rope holds, the capture becomes permanent. The moment he turns away is the moment the war becomes unwinnable. A fleet doesn't just lose, it stops existing as a system.
The hallmark of command is knowing when to stop.
What looks like a battle now becomes logistics. In the end, survival feels like abandoning the sea.
The beach raid ends a war by removing movement.
The consequence is readable without words. The fleet is gone. What was decided on a beach arrives as an empty horizon. Victory is converted into control, stone by stone. He saves a fragment, knowing the war's center has collapsed. The battlefield returns to quiet, as if it never happened.
The tactical truth is simple.
Readiness was the real target.
But the victory has a price, and the bill arrives fast. Immediate cost. Scarcity stops being fear and becomes routine.
Strategy reaches the home as smaller portions and longer silences.
Supply becomes security when the sea stops being yours.
Go back!
Control tightens because options disappear. The immediate outcome isn't dramatic. It's a blank map. Strategic impact begins as inventory and discipline.
The long-term consequence is simple. Athens is cut off from its lifeline.
Information shock spreads faster than food.
Pressure turns ordinary crowds into unstable systems. Leadership under siege is managing fear you cannot erase.
The battlefield's cost is measured in what gets left behind.
One cost for Conon is political. Surviving can look like failure. The victors pay a cost too. Dominance demands constant labor.
Victory doesn't end danger. It changes the work.
Allies start calculating who will be protected and who will be pressured. When the sea is lost, the city becomes a bottleneck. The psychological impact is an empty horizon that never fills.
Seed of next disaster. Tightening control invites resistance and backlash.
His restraint continues, because holding power is harder than taking it. The city now has to choose how to endure what it cannot undo. Security becomes the new daily labor.
Scarcity changes behavior before it changes numbers.
Even after victory, the sea punishes any loosened detail. Morale becomes human-sized. A grip, a nod, a shared silence.
Strategic defeat often looks peaceful from far away.
Small adjustments create big outcomes when the enemy has no slack. Decision-making under pressure narrows to one question: what can still move? The city prepares for a siege without calling it one. And the twist is cruel. The battle is over, but the crisis is just beginning. But what if this victory planted the seed of the next disaster? After the raid, the battlefield turns into paperwork made of rope.
Control is measured, counted, and held.
A navy survives by refusing small failures. On the other side, the city starts to behave like a besieged system. They can see the mechanism. A cutoff at sea becomes a cutoff at the table. Conon's task becomes survival, without the illusion of reversal. The human cost is quiet. A grip, a breath, a choice to keep going. Lysander's victory is not a strike. It's a posture that holds.
If you want the fingerprint, it's here. 3 steps that never needed a fair fight.
The beach remembers the raid as lines in sand, until even those vanish. Every day without sails is a day Athens grows smaller.
Systems under stress don't fail all at once. They tighten until someone cracks.
The wider Greek world starts recalculating loyalty. And this is the seed. Pressure that wins today can breed enemies tomorrow.
Leadership becomes endurance, choosing how to hold together under shortage.
Security becomes the city's new rhythm.
Now the story must be told carefully, because sources differ on details. We won't invent quotes, only reconstruct the chain of decisions. Because the lesson here isn't violence, it's how a system is trapped. For Conan, the decision chain ends with one bitter truth. You can't rebuild cohesion at full speed. For Lysander, the chain ends with discipline. Stop, consolidate, hold. The war now lives in arithmetic.
The battle is finished, but the pressure continues to tighten.
Fingerprint lock, harbor concealment, fast crossing, beach cutoff. 3 moves that delete a fleet without a fair fight.
The decisive weapon wasn't the sea. It was the removal of options.
Egosotami proves a brutal system truth. Readiness is a resource, and it can be taken.
Modern takeaway begins with timing. If you control the clock, you control the fight.
Lesson 1. Protect bottlenecks, because enemies will attack where your movement is slowest. Lesson 2. Routine creates predictability, and predictability creates vulnerability. Lesson 3. Systems beat heroics. Standard checks prevent cascade failures. Lesson 4. Dispersion is a decision, sometimes forced by logistics, sometimes by complacency.
Lesson 5. Always build a fallback route, because the first plan rarely survives first contact.
Lesson 6. Pressure that wins can also create resistance. Control has a political cost.
Modern similarity. Under pressure, organizations become security first, and that changes every decision.
Modern similarity. Logistics isn't support. It's the main fight when access is restricted.
Modern similarity. Intelligence failures often look like doubt, not ignorance. Modern similarity. Minor process drift can become catastrophic under shock.
Boardroom principle. Build repeatable readiness checks before you need them.
Boardroom principle. Don't base strategy on an exposed position with no protected reset.
Boardroom principle. Train the transition moments, the handoffs and swaps, because that's where teams fail.
Boardroom principle. When the system is stressed, fewer, clearer decisions beat more, louder ones. The war's lesson ends, not with noise, but with absence. Fingerprint lock, simplified. Attack readiness, not strength.
Disclaimer: this episode is historical analysis for education. Contexts differ, and we avoid tactical instructions for real-world harm.
Modern takeaway. Cohesion is a resource. Protect it the way you protect supply.
Modern takeaway. Assume small things will fail, then design checks that find them before the crisis does.
Modern takeaway. Your fallback plan must be simple enough to rebuild under pressure.
Modern takeaway. Morale is managed through visible calm and consistent routines.
Modern takeaway. After a win, consolidation matters more than celebration. Aegospotami ends a war by turning a coastline into a trap. And the final reminder. The simplest plan is often the hardest to notice. History leaves clues, then the sea hides them again. Next time, we ask the same question in a different terrain. How does a trap change when the battlefield moves?